Hello, it's Wednesday, and I wanted to welcome all of you to Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us, for joining me. I think of us, I don't know, even though I'm not seeing people, I'm thinking that the audience is an us. It's a complexion of people from all over. Yesterday, actually, I'd love to, do a shout out. We had someone from Wisconsin. We had someone from Orlando, Florida. We had someone from Denver, Colorado. So welcome and thank you for being here and for your wonderful feedback. One of the things that seems to really be pressing is the the healthcare workers who are out there on the front line and not really getting relief and are working so hard. So, number one, I want to do a shout out to all of you who are out there and working hard. And if you have relatives who are on the front lines, it's it's so hard. It's hard. It's sobering. It's also a gift to those people who are in need, and it's a time where you actually get to learn about yourself. And this is a time of illumination, of learning about what you tolerate and what's harder than you thought. It's a time of meeting new people. I've met a couple of new people in the last few weeks, and people I would have never met. One woman, her name is Roxanne, and we actually just did a podcast together, and I can see that we're going to be working together. We're going to do something. And I also have a wonderful guest that's going to be on the show tomorrow. We're going to be working together, and we're going to talk about what do you do if you've got an elderly parent or someone who is in a nursing home or assisted living and you can't get to them. She's an expert in the field of helping people make the transition from independent living into a nursing home or assisted living facility, and working with upper management, working with families. And her name is Deborah Bhakti. I call her Deb. And she's gonna join the conversation tomorrow. We're gonna talk about ways to handle this situation on a couple of different levels. And so if you'd like to hear more about this, or if there's something that you'd like us to cover, please let me know so that I can say to her, hey, Deb, you know what? We're gonna be talking about this. So we need to focus on that I can't talk to my parent, or I can't see my parent or my loved one. Maybe it's a good friend who you used to visit and who you would show up for. So this is such a good time for this kind of conversation. And again, if in any way you have someone, a loved one that you can't be with, and let me know so that we can talk about some of your issues. Today, I thought that we'd talk about grounding, because a lot of people are feeling anxious. They're feeling anxious going outside. They're feeling anxious going grocery shopping and there aren't food deliveries. They're feeling anxious about money. They're feeling anxious about so many things, and I'm feeling anxious too. And one of the things that really seems to help with anxiety is to find something to laugh about. So I posted a picture. I'm not sure if you saw it. And it was a picture of a goat wearing a duck costume. I know it's a duck costume. I know that sounds crazy, but a friend of mine showed this to me. She lives in actually in New Orleans, and New Orleans is really being hit hard. So a shout out to her and Mallory. Hey, how are you? And a shout out to just all of those people who are, facing this pandemic in New Orleans and Louisiana, just Louisiana. So anyway, so she sent me this picture, and I laughed so hard. And whatever was going on for me during the day, it actually calmed me. It actually made me feel just a little bit better because I was laughing. And there's also something else that's gone viral. It's a dog or it's a cat, and they're kind of, there's a lip sync. And I have you seen it? It's hilarious. So the dog or the cat, they're lip syncing, and what they're saying is, "I can't stand that my owner is home. Isn't it time for them to get out of here? Isn't it time for them to leave? I mean, really, like, it's time. It's absolutely time. I've had it. Like, I need my space. I need to sleep. They've got the TV on all the time. They're exercising. They're in the kitchen cooking all day. I can't stand all these smells." It's really funny. And if you've got something funny that you've been looking at or watching, let me know. I'd love to post it. I'd love to post it on Facebook. I'd love to let people know how laughter can really help us, and let's share this as a community. It makes us feel like we're part of this community. So it's such a good it's such a good way to find laughter. And thank you, Jamie. Yes, I love the goat too. I don't know what it is about that goat, but I also laughed right out loud with the animals and the dog and the cat. And so yeah, it's been it's the laughter is really, really important. What we also know about laughter is it helps with pain. And I'm not sure that you know this, and I don't know all the data on this, but people who have cancer are getting treatments for depression, are severely anxious, that when they were given a task to watch things that made people laugh, they were given the task 1 hour a day, just put this on, whatever you find is funny, and let's see what changes. What changed was their ability to sustain pain actually was greater. Their sleep was better. The depression lifted in that moment. And you know what happens? The brain, which is one of our greatest allies, it gives the brain a break from all of those tentacles that are giving the negative messages and keeping one in that really down place. This is such a great opportunity. It's such a great opportunity to find the things that make you laugh. And what they learned in terms of anxiety is it actually lessened the anxiety. That kind of laughter is really good for the soul, for the brain, for the heart, for all these parts of us. And you are actually inspiring your dopamine, which is in the brain. It's a chemical that gets released in the brain, and it's like a happiness. It's a happiness, inspirational kind of piece of energy that just explodes in a good way and can be very freeing and can be uplifting. That dopamine, that rush of dopamine, when you feel great. And exercise is another really, really great way to lessen that anxiety, to lessen some of the depression. Now I know we've talked about this before, but the studies out there about depression and anxiety and exercise. Okay, 3 study groups. Imagine this, 3 study groups. One group was given three groups that were studied under one study. Let me rephrase that. Well, we're imperfect, and as one of my colleagues says, what better time to be imperfect than through this pandemic? And we're going to be imperfect. So thank you, Theo, for that one. Anyway, what exercise does let's say in this study that they did, they had 3 groups. They had one group that took an antidepressant, one group that took an antidepressant and exercised, and another group that took exercise alone. Okay, so the antidepressant group ultimately did the worst because people either started to feel better and they stopped taking the medication, or they had adverse effects from medication, which sometimes does happen. And if that's happened to you, I'm so sorry, because it can be so frustrating. The second group, exercise and medication, they did pretty well. But again, because of the issues around medication, some people just dropped out, and they may not have continued the exercise because once they dropped out of the medication part of that study, they may not have continued the exercise. Do you know what sustained people the most for a longer period of time? It was the exercise. And you can start small, even if you're, not an exercise kind of person. Even if you don't exercise, do one thing. Okay, so I love to jump rope. And I was really clumsy when I started jumping rope. And you don't even need a jump rope. You can just pretend like you're jumping. But it gets my heart race going. It gets that dopamine going. And I actually feel better. If that's just one thing that you can do. But then another kind of exercise would just be putting your hands up, stretching, and then putting them down and letting a breath release. Putting them up, stretching, taking in a breath, and letting it go. And even if you do little things like this, again, it's changing your attitude in your body. And what we're talking about today is changing the attitude in your body. Yes. Are we stuck? Yeah. Are we dealing with a horrific pandemic? Yes. Are we making new friends? And yes, we are. And are we feeling isolated? Sure. And is this hard? You bet it is. And this is also like grief, which is something we're all facing right now, can also be your greatest teacher and can illuminate us and can help us to shift and move when we take on the self. So you've got a couple of ways now to take on the self. Exercise and find something funny to watch. And let's share it. I'm going to try to find something funny every day that I can share. And please add to the conversation. Give me information. So anyway, I wish you all good luck. And I just got a really strange message, so I'm not sure that I'm still live, but I think that I am. Anyway, thank you so very, very much for being here today, for your insights. And actually, Chris is saying, I'll send you a video of my goat and dogs. Great, Chris. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to see other things that make you laugh. If you want a free chapter, it's a chapter on the 11 phases of grief. Please contact me. You can contact me through my website, ednathan.com, and just give me your email and I'm happy to send this to you. And you also get a free Power of You meditation. It's I think pretty cool, and I think you might enjoy it. And the other thing is you can also just email me. It's grief2@gmail.com. It's grief and then the number 2 at Gmail. So I know that for some of you that may not be something you want to do. So if that's something you want to do, then the third option is private message me in Facebook and I will send something to you. Okay? So with that said, you take care. Contact 3 people today. Let them know something that's making you laugh. Let them know something that really just bugs the crap out of you. And let them know something that's really pissing you off. You've got this. You can do this. And I'll see you tomorrow at 12 with a guest, Deborah Bhakti. Bye-bye.